Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards, coming at you with another MTG video. This time we're bringing you Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant. Gothmog is 3 and a black for a 3/3 legendary future human soldier. When Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant enters the battlefield, it amass orcs once. To amass orc 1, simply put a 1/1 counter on an existing army you control and make it an orc. If you don't control an army, you create a 0/0 black orc army first, then put that 1/1 counter on. On top of this, creature tokens you control have Death Touch. Now, let's get into the point system. For those who aren't in the know, I have a 40-point system. No card can ever actually hit those 40 points. That's not the point there. The idea here is just to get that fine line. And as long as you hit more than 10 points, I think you're a playable commander. At 15 points, you're a pretty decent commander. And once you hit that 20 plus, you're a good commander. So, where's Gothmog land? Gothmog's color identity is mono black, so it's going to get 1 out of 5. You're only getting one color, so you're not doing the best here. Next, its mono value. It's 3 and a black, which is 4 mono total, but it only costs 1 color pip, so it is pretty easy to cast, giving you a 3 out of 5 there. It will receive 0 points for protection, interaction, or mono advantage, as it doesn't do any of those things. What it does do is token creation. Token creation is card advantage, but very limited card advantage, and therefore you're only going to be getting 1 point per card advantage there. Now, what else will you be getting here? Luckily, he does have a 2-card combo. We'll get into that later on when we look at the cards in the deck. But the 2-card combo does give it a 4 out of 5. Now, 2-card combos, for people who aren't in the know, do mean 2 cards plus Gothmog. You always have access to Gothmog, so you don't have to worry about trying to find it. Along with that, it does have the 33-card engine. This is almost pointless at this point. I wouldn't be making a video if it didn't. The whole point of this video is to talk about the 33 cards in the deck that just make a deck work. So, where does that put this? It gives it 14 points. Does that mean it's a good commander? No, it's a playable commander. It's not terrible, like anything with less than 10 points. Again, it's hard to get less than 10 points. So, where does that lead us? Well, welcome to the other 33. The other 33 is the meat and potato of commander decks. So, breaking that down, in all Magic, decks are broken up into segments. There are different parts to decks. There are the first third, which is your lands. In 60-card formats, that's usually around 20 lands. And in Commander, it's around 33. Then you have the interaction, mana advantage, and card advantage. That's another 33 cards, depending on what you need and how you want to play your deck. Lastly, you have where we stand. This is the 33 cards you're trying to make work. Where does the 33 come from? Well, it's a somewhat joke that Josh Lee Kwai said to play persistent partitioner, but he did the demon one. You want 33 of them in your deck. So in any of those decks that you can have as many of a copy in your deck, you usually run 33 of those cards in your deck. And that's the meat and potatoes. So yeah, the meat and potatoes is 33 cards. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this series. So let's hop right into it. Theming tokens. Yeah. Who would have thought in a deck where your commander gives tokens Death Touch, we want to give your tokens on the field. So with that, we have a few cards here. Let's get into them. Bitter Blossom is 1 and a black for a tribal enchantment fairy. At the beginning of upkeep, you lose a life and you create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. While your commander's onto the field, they'll also have Death Touch. This is very useful for many different reasons, most of all being annoying flying decks, like all those dragon decks that are out there that are super popular, aren't gonna attack you if you have 1/1 Death Touch flyers. Normally, they'll just swing in, you'll chump block, that'll be the end of it. They can whittle you down. But since you have the death touch, you can be either on the defensive, telling them you can't attack me because you'll lose your big dragon, and I'll lose my 1/1 fairy that will replace itself next turn. Or you can go on the offensive, attacking them, knowing that they won't block your little 1/1 fairy with death touch because they don't want to lose their big dragon. Next up, we have Liliana, Dreadhorde General. This is 4 and 2 black for a 6 loyalty legendary planeswalker Liliana. Whenever a creature you control dies, you get to draw a card. This is by itself the reason you're running Liliana, or one of them. Because you're running a lot of little death touchers, you're going to be swinging out and protecting yourself. And people are going to end up trading with them eventually because they don't want to lose it. So early game, they might go, I can take the 1 damage, that's fine. But later on, when they're starting to be at like 20, 15, 10 life, they're going to choose to block it, lose their creature, and then you're going to draw a card. And whenever a creature you control dies, means you're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Next up, we have its +1. Cat time. My cat likes to pop into frame and say hi to people sometimes. So say hi, this is Faye, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Its +1 does create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, which is perfect. Again, that's just another token that you can be swinging out with people or protecting yourself with. Its -4 has each player sacrificing 2 creatures of their choice. So this is both a good way to interact and lower your opponent's creatures, especially if they're not running a wide strategy. If they're running a go tall strategy, you're going to hinder them a lot. And if they're just running their commander, they're going to lose their commander. But with that, you're going to sacrifice 2 tokens, and with Liliana's effect, you will draw cards. And its -9 has each opponent choosing a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrificing the rest. For the most part, that should be a win con. If you ever actually got its -9 off, which you should not be getting there, if you do, which actually technically in this deck with all your little tokens, you could get there protecting it. If you do get to that, everyone having 1 land, 1 creature, 1 artifact, and 1 enchantment, that's the main, I guess a 1 planeswalker if they have that, 1 battle if they're running a battle, right? They're going to be so far behind with your tokens, you'll just start swinging in and winning the game. Next up, we have Oketra's Monument. This is 3 generic for a legendary artifact. White creature spells you can cast cost 1 generic less to cast. That's not why it's here. We're in a mono black deck, so why the heck is this here? Well, whenever you cast a creature spell, you create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. So that's perfect. The point here is to cast creatures, and they come with your little buddy, your little 1/1 white warrior buddy with vigilance. And here's the thing, it's got vigilance. What that means is with death touch, you can swing, they're not going to block it, but then you can hold black and block their creatures that might be trying to attack you. Following Oketra's up, we've got Westvale Abbey. Westvale Abbey is a land that taps for a colorless. But for 5, you can tap it, pay a life, and you can create a 1/1 white and black human cleric creature token. This is the reason you're running Westvale. It has a flip side. I'm not even going to show you that flip side. Okay? Your goal is not to flip it. If you ever do, you get some big, hunking vampire guy that can come in and beat the crap out of people. Useful, but the main thing here is something you might notice in Commander is having too much mana and not enough to do with it. And that's where something like Westvale Abbey comes in. Oh no, I'm not drawing cards. What do? Well, at least I can put 5 mana and make a 1/1. Now, a 1/1 might not be the best, but a 1/1 with death touch is okay. 2 transform it, you pay 5 and tap it and sack 5 creatures. So eventually it will pay for itself to be able to flip into a 9/7. And if you ever do want to do that, go for it. I just don't think it's the point of this deck. Next up, you got Black Market Connections. This is 2 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose 1 or more. Create a treasure token, you lose 1 life. Draw a card, you lose 2 life. Or create a 3/2 colorless shifting creature token, or shape-shifting creature token with changing. You lose 3 life. It has every creature type. That's what changeling means. So this gives you not only ramp, not only card drop, but it also gives you a 3/2 token. And that's perfect. A lot of times with black market connections, you might ignore that, but that's the meat and potatoes here. You really want to make those tokens if possible, in order to really get that advantage and that push for tokens out. Next up is Mirror Battlesphere. This is 7 generic for a 4/7 artifact creature mirror construct, and when it enters, you create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. And whenever this creature attacks, you may tap X untap mirror creatures you control. If you do, this creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn and deals X damage to that player or planeswalker it's attacking. So tapping can be a useful option, but mainly here you're using it to just get those 4 guys out. If you wish, you could run ways to flicker. Your commander doesn't dislike flickering. You can make your orc army bigger in that way. It's not needed. It's not in the 33. It would be like an additional step if you're seeing that a lot of the token creation is ETB effects, which so far it's not. There's just the 1. Technically 2 coming up now with Grave Titan being 4 and 2 black for a 6/6 giant and with Death Touch. And whenever Grave Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, you get to create 2 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So what Grave Titan does is known by many people. It's one of the 5 titans, and it is going to be making you 2/2s, which is normally good on its own, but 2/2s with Death Touch is even better. This is going to be very obnoxious. On ETB, even if it's removed before it can attack the following turn, getting 2 2/2s is fine. And causing your opponent to waste a removal spell can also be useful. So it's not as many tokens as Mirror Battlesphere, but its ceiling is higher. Next, you have Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. This is 1 in a black for a 1/1 human wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, you get to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. If it can't block, and when it attacks, you sacrifice it at the end of combat. This is going to let you constantly make more and more tokens with Decayed each turn, because you're gonna swing with them, because you can't block with them, so you might as well swing. But no one's gonna block them because they have Death Touch. So you're either getting 2 damage in and then losing the creature and replacing it at your end step, or you're getting blocked and removing a creature. This giving you some form of carded interaction with that Death Touch play. Next up, we have Horn of Gondor. This is 3 generic for a legendary artifact. When Horn of Gondor enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So again, this is entering the battlefield, giving you 1/1. But for 3, you can tap it to create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of humans you control. Well, your commander happens to be a human. That's useful, okay? So normally, Horn of Gondor, I do not suggest running it unless your commander's a human, because you can't guarantee having that token stick, okay? Unless you know that you can play it and then tap it to get a second human, so that you think, okay, no one's going to remove the tokens, I should be able to get around. Horn of Gondor will always be active as long as you have your commander out. And that's useful. Being able to just know that you can tap it to make a token each turn, and then it'll get out of control. Oh, you already have that token. You have the 2 humans. Next turn, you tap it. Boom, there's 2 more tokens. Next turn, tap it. There's 4 more tokens. Do it again. There's 8 more tokens. You'll get out of control, and that's a lot of tokens. Army of the Damned is 5 and 3 black for a sorcery. You get to create 13 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, and it has flashback for 7 and 3 black, which means you can cast it from your graveyard, but exile it afterwards. Army of the Damned is just a great finisher. Being able to cast it and make those 13 2/2s. Yes, they're tapped, so they're not a protective option. You want to make sure that your field is already usable, or maybe there was a board wipe and this is just a way to get back in the game. But Army of the Damned is a great way to just say, hey, I've got a nice amount of 26 damage coming next turn. Or I'm just going to clear your fields if you block because my guys have Death. Hangerback Walker is probably my favorite token generator in the game. It's 2x for a 0/0 artifact creature construct, and Hangerback Walker enters with X 1/1 counters on it. When it dies, you get to create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying for each 1/1 counter on it. You can pay 1 and tap it to put a 1/1 counter on Hangerback Walker. The point of Hangerback Walker is not to attack. It's to sit there each turn just putting on those 1/1 counters. Why? Because eventually someone will try to board wipe. You have too many tokens. They need to clear them. But they're going to then notice, oh, your Hangerback Walker's at 5. Even if I board wipe, you get 5 1/1s. And then you'll recast your commander and you'll have 5 1/1s with flying. Yep. That's the point. But that's the allure of Hangerback Walker, is the protection and insulation from board wipes. Sagemoor Witch is 2 and a black for a 3/2 human warlock with menace. It has ward, pay 3 life, so if someone wants to target it, they also have to pay 3 life. If an opponent wants to target it, I should say. And it has Magecraft, so whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain a life. This is again a great token generator. Every single instant sorcery you cast, you're gonna trigger it. And there's a lot of good draw cards and instants and sorceries in mono black. So you're gonna fill your deck up with a handful of those to try to push this card. Next up is Lord Skitter, Sewer King. This is 2 and a black for a 3/3 legendary creature, Rat Noble. Whenever another rat enters the battlefield under you control, exile up to 1 target card from an opponent's graveyard. Okay. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, you get to create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. So the rat hits the field, boom, you get some graveyard interaction. That's good. Being able to have that just little bit of interaction against people's graveyard decks is helpful. You don't want too much so that they can't play their deck, but just enough to make it so that they can't just romple stomp you. On top of that, you're making tokens. Actively making these little black tokens that are gonna keep attacking, because again, they can't block, so why not swing with them? Ghoul Caller Gissa is 3 and 2 black for a 3/4 legendary creature human wizard. You can pay 1 black to tap it and sacrifice another creature. Create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Now, Ghoul Caller Gissa is really strong in a lot of decks. This deck, it's okay. It's an interesting way to sacrifice Hangerback Walker later on in the game on your opponent's end step before it's your turn, so that not only do you get oh, Hangerback Walker's at 7, so let's get 7 2/2 zombies off a Ghoul Caller. Hangerback Walker also dies, and you get a nice 7 1/1s with flying. But there's a few other cards here and there that you can sacrifice just to create a few more. On top of that, as long as you make 1 of her zombies, you can then just constantly sacrifice one of the 2/2 zombies to make 2 more zombies, and therefore, and thus for, and more and more and more. Okay? Not the end of the world in that regard. Next, you have Bloodline Keeper. This is 2 and a 2 black for a 3/3 creature vampire. It has flying, and you can tap it to create a 2/2 black vampire creature token with flying. You can also pay a black to transform it, but you can only do this if you have 5 of them are vampires. Again, the point is not to transform it. If you do transform it, you get a 5/5 on the other side that has the same tap ability, but also buffs your vampires. Okay? The goal with Bloodline is just a way to get you 2/2 flyers every single turn. And a token a turn can be very deadly in this deck. Up next, similar to that, is Piper of the Swarm. This is 1 and a black for a 1/3 human warlock. Rats you control have menace. Now this works with Lord Skitter as well and his tokens, but giving something menace while it has death touch is very useful, because that means it has to be blocked by 2 creatures and both can die. Now, technically, if it's a 1/1 creature, you just choose which one takes the 1 damage and dies. Still useful though. But it also has, for 1 and a black, you can tap it and create a 1/1 black rat creature token. And for 2 and 2 black, you can sacrifice 3, you can tap it and sacrifice 3 rats to gain control of target creature. So, in the odd chance that you have a problematic card your opponents have on their side of the field, you can just remove it using Piper of the Swarm. Next up, we have On draw, Flame of the West. This is 3 generic for legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. And whenever equipped creature attacks, you get to create 2 tapped 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. If that creature is legendary, though, instead create 2 of those tokens that are tapped and attacking. Equip 2. This is going to go right on your commander, or if you really don't care, you can toss it on a token. But I highly suggest tossing it on your commander. Making your commander, who's normally a 3/3, into a nice 6/5 or 6/4 isn't bad. And being able to swing every turn and create 2 flying tokens with Death Touch coming at people just to deal some damage is very useful. That's going to give you them, and then the following turn you can choose to either attack with them or just hold them black for blocking. Up next is Curse of Disturbance. This is 2 and a black for an enchantment or a curse. Enchant player. When enchant player is attacked, you get to create a 2/2 black creature token, and each opponent attacking that player does the same. So you toss this on a problematic player, and then everyone attacks it. And then yes, they're making some 2/2s, but you're also going to make more 2/2s along the way, and they're all going to have Death Touch, so they outpace your opponent's 2/2s. Next is Curse of the Restless Dead. This is 2 and a black for an enchantment or a curse. Enchant player. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under enchanted player's control, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. Okay? Here's the thing. It's a perfect card to curse yourself with if no one's running a land ramp deck. But if you see a green player and you know they're running land ramp, you curse them as soon as you can. Because now, just for them to play their deck, they're going to give you lands. Or they're going to give you lands, which on their field, which in turn gives you zombies. Sure, they have Decayed, so they sacrifice when you attack with them, but that's besides the point, okay? It's a great way to just constantly get more tokens. Rise of the Dreadmarn is 2 and a black for an instant. You get to create X 2/2 black zombie berserk creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. And you can foretell for a black. So during your turn, you can pay 2 and exile this card face down, and then you can cast it later for its foretell cost. So doing this later is great. What your goal here is to just, in response to someone board wiping, just cast this. And it's not even just yours, it's everyone's. So this is, again, more insulation to board wipes. Your deck can really much fail to board wipes because it's a bunch of tokens. But Rise of the Dreadmarn says, oh, you're going to board wipe? Cool, for 1 black, let's flip this card out after the board wipe and just make 10 1/1 or 2/2s. Next is March of the Black Gate. This is 1 and a black for an enchantment. When March of the Black Gate enters the battlefield, and whenever an army you control attacks, you get a Mass Orcs 1. So, although this isn't making tokens, it is one of the cards, actually one of the only cards, if not the only card, that we're running that really likes armies. And your commander does make an army, so being able to make it bigger and bigger is a way to get it scarier. With that being said, it's not 100% necessary to make it larger. You're going more wide strategy, but it is an option. But the only way to make the Orc army stronger is to amass army with mass army cards. And the only option there is either to flick your commander or March to the Great Black Gate in this deck. And it's not bad. There is a land you could run in this deck that does amass armies, and it's fine enough that you could just toss it as regular land in place of a swamp. But let's just continue on. A big army can win you the game, though, and attacking with a Death Touch army is a lot more scary than just a regular army. Wand of Orcus is 2 and a black for a legendary artifact equipment. When equipped creature attacks or blocks, it and zombies you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. So it will just get this will give your commander Death Touch, again making it harder for people to want to block. When equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you get to create that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So your commander's a 3/3, so getting 3 2/2s each turn isn't bad. On the other hand, you could equip this to one of your flyers and just make 1 2/2 each turn, or 2/2 each turn, or 2 2/2s each turn. It's up to you to decide where you want to put it on. I like putting it on the commander. I think it functions pretty well there. Up next is Glass Cased Heart. This is 2 and a black for an artifact, so whenever one or more vampires you control attack, you get to create a black token, or a blood token. It's an artifact with pay 1, tap it, discard a card, and sacrifice this artifact to draw a card. It's card selection, not the best. But for 1 black, you can tap it and pay a life to create a 1/1 white and black vampire creature token with lifelink. That'll be lifelink and death touch. Very useful to just slowly gain some life. And for 2 black, you can tap it and sacrifice Glass Kate Heart and 13 blood tokens, and each opponent loses 13 life and you gain 13 life. Now, this is whenever one or more vampires you control attack. Now you're making those vampires. You have a few other cards that make vampires, so you could technically get there. I would never do that unless you know that your opponents are all at less than 13 life. In which case, then you can win the game that way. So it is kind of got that funny, oh, I could technically win if everyone's at 13 or less life, right? Or each opponent is. So that's kind of funny, but mainly it's here just to generate that token each turn. Next up is Inquisitorial Rosetta. This is 2 generic for an artifact equipment. Inquisition Agent is whenever equipped creature attacks, you get to create a 2/2 white Astrist's Warrior creature token with Vigilance. That's attacking. Then attacking creatures gain menace until end of turn. So this gives all your attacking creatures menace. That's very useful again with Death Touch. On top of that, it has Vigilance. This is very good with Death Touch. And on top of that, it's a 2/2. So what does this mean? If someone chooses to block this already attacking 2/2 with Vigilance, Death Touch, and Menace, it has to block it with 2 creatures, and both those creatures are dead, because you're going to assign 1 damage to both creatures, and they'll both be gone. So no one will block it. They'll just take the 2 damage, and then you'll have this nice blocker. It's gross. It's great. Its equip is 3. I love the card. Now let's talk about some payoffs. Death Touch helps a lot, okay? Grim Hireling is 3 and a black for a 3/2 creature Tiefling Rogue, and whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get to create 2 treasure tokens. For a black, you can sacrifice a treasure token and create... and target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, and you can only activate this as a sorcery. So this is both interaction and a way to make mana, okay? Why is this card so good in this 33? Well, it's sitting here at a very interesting point and spot, which is your guys have Death Touch and no one wants to block them. Since no one wants to block them, you can so easily just decide to knock them out and get some treasures. Next up is Blood Artist. Blood Artist is 1 and a black for a 0/1 creature vampire. Whenever this creature or another creature dies, target player loses life and you gain life. Again, this, and I'm just going to read Sir Conrad for a second. Sir Conrad the Grim is 3 and 2 black for a 5/4 legendary creature human knight. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent. For 1 and a black, each player mills a card. Both these cards are doing the same thing. They're both saying, hey, I'm swinging with these Death Touchers, and I'm blocking with these Death Touchers. So if someone blocks it, or I block with it, 2 things are dying. That's double triggers off of these cards. Great way to just drain people out and keep your life up. Or at least Blood Artist is going to keep your life up. Black Market is 3 and 2 black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature dies, you put a charge counter on Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you get to add a black for each charge counter on Black Market. Yes, this is exactly what you're looking for. It's whenever a creature dies. Again, not just your creatures, it's a creature. So if someone trades off with you, that's 2 charge counters put on it. So slowly over time, you're going to get a lot of mana to do with Black Market. Next up is Ashnod's Altar, and that goes right with Nim Deathmantle for the combo. So Ashnod's Altar is 3 generic for an artifact, and you can sacrifice a creature to add 2 black, or 2 colorless. This is perfect for some ramp, especially with your little tokens. Nim Deathmantle is 2 generic for an artifact equipment with equip 4. And equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has Intimidate and is a black zombie. That part we don't normally care about. It's this next part. Whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 4 generic. If you do, return that card from the battlefield and attach Nim Deathmantle to it. What this means is you can sacrifice your commander and your orc army he creates, to the graveyard, and then pay for Nim Deathmantle to bring your commander back, who will come in with the Orc army. Then you sacrifice them again, and do it again, and do it again, and again, and again. Now, this is an infinite loop that does nothing, unless you have something like Blood Artist, Sir Conrad, or the Meat Hook on the field. There's a few other cards you can toss in the deck if you want to really make that combo work, but aside from that, they're also just decent cards. Ashnod's Altar is a great way to use your tokens that you don't need to get some more card or mana advantage so you can get the bigger stuff out. And Nim Deathmantle is a protection and a way to let your commander deal a little bit more damage and get in a little bit with that Intimidate. The Meat Hook Massacre is X and 2 black for a legendary enchantment. Whenever the Meat Hook Massacre enters, each creature gets -X until end of turn, so it is a board fight. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain 1 life. The thing about the Meat Hook Massacre is you can win the game with it depending on how many tokens you have. Again, if you're playing the game and you've been whittling people down and they're at like 20, and you can cast the Meat Hook Massacre and just like cast it for 2, for X is 2, so 4 mana, and just, oh look, all my tokens are dead, and I had 20 tokens. Y'all take 20 damage, or you all lose 20 life. I gain, and you guys had a total of like 10 creatures. I gained 10 life. Doesn't matter, you guys lost. So it can win you the game, late game, early game. It's just a nice way to just be able to drain your opponents because of that trade-off. Oh, 2 creatures die, theirs and yours. You gain a life, they lose a life. And lastly, out of the 32 is Revel in Riches. This is 4 and a black for an enchantment. When a creature an opponent controls dies, you get to create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice this token, add a mana of any color to your mana pool. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. Simple way to win the game casually. Works with Grim Hireling, but on top of that, because you have the Death Touch, people are gonna be freaking out. And the thing is they see Revel in Riches, they're going to just take the damage. They're gonna be like, you're gonna win if we let you do this, we can't let you win. And that's gonna hinder them. That's gonna really push them to that next level of, I can't play the game. I'm just gonna have to take this small amount of damage, and that small amount of damage will add up, I promise you. Next, we've got the Golden Potato. Now, if you've ever watched, who are they? If you've ever watched the Command Court, that's his name. He does the Golden Pig. To follow up with the meat and potato pun, am doing the Golden Potato. Okay? It's that one card that made you want to build the deck. It's the card that you went, okay, Death Touch on all my tokens. Is there a card that I can use to really push out a lot of tokens in mono black? And you'd be surprised of how little token generation there is in mono black that's good. Okay? And is there? And the answer is yes. That's being Biotransference. This is 2 and 2 black for an enchantment. Creatures you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you lose a life and create a 2/2 black Necron Warrior artifact creature token. So, what is this card specifically doing? Why is it the Golden Potato? Simply put, it not only makes it so that every single ramp spell you're running in this deck, which they're almost all going to be artifact spells, not only will it see those and go, hey, yeah, let's just make you a 2/2. Yeah, sure, you lose a life, but you got some life gain in this deck, and you'll win sooner or later. But it's also going to see all those creatures you're casting and go, hey, that's a creature. Yeah, it means it's an artifact too. Let's get another 2/2. You lose a life. But it's such an aggressive card where most of your deck is going to trigger it. So once it's on the field, being able to just simply cast spells and it come with a 2/2 token, which now has Death Touch, is fantastic. It really pushes you into the next level and makes this deck shine. It's the Golden Potato of this deck, and I hope you try it out. Next up is deck build. Link will be in the description. But just so you see, here's an early build of the deck. I may or may not have certain cards. I made this version of the deck a while back, but it's a start. As I always tell everyone, go ahead and go to Moxfield, copy the deck, and from there, just add and remove cards you like and don't like. I think it's that simple. Lastly, do you like Gothmog, Morgul, Lieutenant? Leave a comment, and as always, if you like the content, subscribe. Have a great day. Peace.